You got cherry, blackberry, strawberry, cranberry, raspberry, cacao. It's where the bean for chocolate, peanut, cashew, pecan, black walnut, Heracles. Is that plum? What the hell is a Brazil nut? These are all plants that are indigenous to the Americas. That's important because when the Europeans, those filthy, degenerate, rotten, disgust, they came in here and they had all their, and then 500 years ago, we're supposed to pretend that those bastards were more civilized than the brown Native Americans, but the brown Native Americans had the tomato and the potato and corn, and they didn't even know shit about the tomato and potato and corn and cherry and blackberry, strawberry, cranberry, raspberry. What the hell's a plum? Yeah, they didn't know what the hell a plum was. There's no such thing as a plum until Christopher Columbus. Bell and chili peppers. My God, there's so many things. A bunch of beans, quinoa, zizania. It's wild rice. It's wild rice. Amaranthus menomin. And of course, cassava, pecan, papaya, vanilla, cocoa. For chocolate, cocoa is short for chocolate. So on Kokomo, that's where you get all the chocolate. You get all the cocoa on Kokomo. Papaya, passion fruit, pineapple, dragon fruit, huckleberry, cherry, strawberry, cranberry, blackberry, raspberry, pawpaw, chia, sweet potato, regular potato, Concord, grape, vitis, dragon fruit, passion fruit, soursop, chia, Seminole, pumpkin, sugar apple, cherimoya, pumpkin, squash, avocado, jicama squash, cassava, squash, sunflower, acorns, U.S. persimmon, chiltepin pepper, wintergreen, iris setosa, white sage, Gaultheria procumbius, lobelia, blue flower, peppers, chili peppers, bell peppers. So potatoes and tomatoes and not bananas. We got a lot of bananas, but not bananas. Okay, all right. But tomato, potato, corn, peppers, chocolate, vanilla, pecan, huckleberry, pineapple, pumpkin, sunflower, papaya, peanuts, cashews, black walnut, peppers, raspberry, cranberry, strawberry, cherry, blackberry. They didn't know what the hell a berry is. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. They didn't even know what a berry was in Europe before 1492. They didn't even know what a berry was. So, what's the point? I just read an awesome article here in the Smithsonian. And frankly, if you have a big feast on Thanksgiving and you don't have, we need to get back to our indigenous roots. America was better than Europe in terms of plants. So I'm wondering, maybe in terms of animals and maybe people too. Maybe America was better in plants, animals, and people. Yeah, we got the Constitution, Bill of Rights, the three branches of government, but I'm the only one that I know that talks about the three branches of government or the Bill of Rights. Or, well, some people talk about a republic, but not knowing that it's democracy, there's elections and... So, yeah, don't tell me you had Thanksgiving and you didn't have pumpkin. You didn't have vanilla and chocolate. You had a bunch of European shit. Then we had a bunch of European shit. Did you now? So what this article talks about is vanilla and chocolate. And it goes through the history of vanilla and chocolate. Archaeologists are discovering that the two of the world's most prized flavors have a much richer history than we thought. Of all the great debates, it's 2019 Smithsonian Magazine, Coke. Of all the great debates, Coke versus Pepsi, boxers versus briefs, shaken versus stirred, bath versus shower. Few have been more polarizing than chocolate versus vanilla. Just combine them. Just combine them. My God, I had this white chocolate with like fudge in the middle. White chocolate, fudge. I mean, it's like white chocolate is basically vanilla, right? Isn't that what white chocolate? Those of us aligned with chocolate, the product of ground roasted cacao beans. Find it warm, comforting, ambrosial, and generally dismiss all things on chocolate as vanilla, meaning bland and boring. Ambrosial. My God. This delicious chocolate, this Hershey's bar, ambrosial. Those who prefer vanilla climb an orchid that bears long pod-like fruit. Praise its aromatic sweetness and note that it enhances the flavor of chocolate, which unembellished would be dull and kind of flat. In short, vanilla. The one aspect of the chocolate and vanilla divide that has seldom been disputed is the question of provenance. But over the last year, 2 new studies have radically rejiggered, don't like that word, the origin stories of both. On the chocolate front, the earliest chemical evidence of cacao use has been pushed about 1,400 years further into the past and about 2,000 miles south. For vanilla's part, researchers now believe that the beans were not only used by humans more than 2 millennia earlier than previously thought, but an entire ocean away. These findings are just a couple of the latest examples of how archaeologists, geneticists, and cultural anthropologists are rewriting history through the study of food. The earliest use of vanilla has long been attributed to the Teutonic community in what is now the Mexican state of Veracruz. The Teutonic community. They gathered the fragrant seed pods from orchids that grew wild in the forest. Much later, they domesticated the vines, which can take up to 5 years to mature. Each flower must be pollinated the one day that it blooms, or else the stem bears no fruit. In Mexico, vanilla planifolia co-evolved with its pollinator, the Melipona bee. According to Teutonic legend, the humble beginnings of the vanilla industry can be traced to 13th century Papantla, known as the city that perfumed the world. Papantla. The native peoples were very knowledgeable about the medicinal use of herbs and may well have ground the vanilla bean for lung and stomach disorders, as well as used the liquid from green beans as a poultice for drawing out insect venom and infections from wounds. Patricia Rain explains in Vanilla, her cultural history of the spice vanilla. Is that a book or a blog? A song? Is that a rap song? The Aztecs, who subjugated the Totonacs in 1480, knew the plant as Tixochitl, or black pod, a name which would be translated erroneously as black flower, leading to centuries of confusion over the primrose yellow petals. Tribute was exacted in the form of cured beans and an indispensable ingredient in the savory chocolate drink, cacahuatl, also enlivened with chilies, which became the beverage of choice of Aztec nobility. In 1519, Montezuma II and Spanish invader Hernan Cortez famously quaffed the cold, frothy brew at a feast in the capital, Tenochtitlan, now Mexico City, some 75 years after Cortez's return to Europe with the pods. Hugh Morgan, the apothecary and pastry chef of Queen Elizabeth I, suggested that vanilla could be used as a flavoring All by itself from then on, Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth I, a sugar freak with conspicuously rotten teeth, indulged in vanilla-infused sweet meats. Thomas Jefferson discovered the flavor during a visit to France in the late 1700s. When he found none available on his return to Philadelphia, he wrote to the American Chargé d'Affaires in Paris asking him to send him 50 pods wrapped in newspapers. With the flourish of a pen and the help of a friend, writes Rain, he saw that vanilla had traveled nearly full circle back to the Americas. Now comes word that vanilla may have become a thing in the old world before the new one. Researchers have pinpointed the earliest known example of the spice in Northern Ireland, soaked into 3 small jugs recovered at a site in Megiddo, was a sweet surprise. 2 of the main chemicals in vanilla, 4-hydroxylbenzaldehyde and vanillin, a compound that forms tiny white crystals on the pod's surface as the bean ferments. The expedition, organized by Israel Frankenstein of Tel Aviv University, had the makings of a mummy screenplay: an undisturbed 3,600-year-old Canaanite tomb, 3 intact skeletons, and a hoard of gold and silver jewelry. Call it the thriller in vanilla. The vessel sat beside the skeletons. The tomb is probably associated with the royal family of Megiddo or its entourage. Finkelstein says it's just several meters from the remains of the palace. It's possible that the vanilla was mixed with plant oil to create a perfume, either to purify the burial chamber or to anoint the corpse before interment. Vanilla has antimicrobial properties that could help to preserve a body before burial, says University of California, Berkeley archaeologist Melissa Craddock, who led the examination of the tomb. Another possibility is that vanilla-scented perfumes were deposited in the burial as an expensive offering for the dead. Botanical history suggests that the vanillin found in jugs in modern-day Israel may have come from orchids native to Southeast Asia or East Africa. Finkelstein thinks the vanillin probably arrived in the Middle East through extensive Bronze Age trade routes. This find is the tip of the iceberg, Craddock says, and represents only the beginning of our understanding of cultivation, exchange, and uses of vanilla in the ancient world, as if this new discovery weren't enough to make a 6-year-old switch to strawberry. The birthday of chocolate has also been thrown into doubt by science based on a sample from a ceramic jar. It has been believed that the history of chocolate began with the Mocaya sedentary villagers who occupied the Soconusco region of Mexico's Pacific coast around 1900 BC. The Mocayas began to consume Theobroma cacao, a plant that thrives in the upper reaches of the Amazon. There followed a succession of Mesoamerican societies, Olmec, Toltec, Maya, Aztec, that found ways to exploit the bean, which was variously used as a monetary unit, a measuring unit, and a meal. It's both money and a measuring unit. It wasn't until 1847 that the English company J.S. Fry & Sons of Bristol produced the first solid chocolate bar offered to the general public. Turns out that our love affair with chocolate predates the Mocaya. New research indicates that cacao was originally used in the humid forest of the upper Amazon basin, where the tree is at its most genetically diverse. Investigators looked at jars and shards of pottery from Santa Ana, Florida, an archaeological site in Ecuador once inhabited by the Mayo Chinchipe people, and detected signs of chocolate tippling from as long as 5,300 years ago. A team of archaeologists and biologists from universities in North America, South America, and Europe identified preserved starch grains from the genus Theobroma, which includes the species T. cacao. Inside the artifacts along the theobromine, a bitter alkaloid produced more abundantly by T. cacao than its wild relatives. The clincher, ancient DNA with sequences that match those of modern cacao trees. Ethnographic and ethnobotanical descriptions of indigenous peoples in the Amazon basin have led archaeologist Michael Blake, a co-author of the paper, to suspect that the plants were used medicinally and ceremonially. As you might expect in a study involving the contentious topic of chocolate, those conclusions are not universally accepted. Some scientists question whether the Mayo Chinchipe prepared the seeds for eating an elaborate process of fermentation, drying, roasting, and grinding, or simply collected the pods. Others have challenged the idea that the cacao plants made the passage from South America. Another recent analysis pegged cacao cultivation to about 3,600 years ago in Central America. If this new food scholarship has shown us anything, it's that nothing, not even chocolate and vanilla, is ever just black and white. Not even vanilla and chocolate. Oh man, that was worth it. That was worth it just for that last sentence. Nothing's black and white. Not even chocolate and vanilla. But acorns, amaranth, persimmon, chiltepin, pepper, potato, pecan, huckleberry, blackberry, cherryberry, strawberry, cranberry, raspberry, peanut berry, cashew, pecan berry, black walnut berry, Brazil nut, potato, tomato, you say potato, I say tomato. I say tomato, you say potato. Let's just call the whole thing off. Pineapple, pumpkin, sugar apple. You got that sugar apple? You got that sugar apple sport? What you got there, sport? An apple. An apple. Cashew, peanut, peppers, black walnut, cherry, sunflowers. You know, Pueblo, Colorado makes sunflowers illegal. Talk about getting too far away from their indigenous roots. You made sunflowers illegal. Sunflowers have been here in the Americas for 14,000 motherfucking years. You can't get rid of the sunflower. Hey, Pueblo, Colorado, you can't get rid of the sunflower. Jicama, squash, avocado, pumpkin, cassava, lobelia, blue flower, gaillardia, white sage, salvia piana, wintergreen, gaultheria, procumbias, iris setosa, pecan, papaya, vanilla, cocaine, chocolate, cacao, passion fruit, dragon fruit, pineapple, sugar apple, huckleberry, concord grape, vitis, cherry, guava, papaw, chia, sweet potatoes, sour sop, Seminole pumpkin, pumpkin and Seminole pumpkin, quinoa, zizania, wild rice, amaranthus, manomin, capsicum, black kidney, navy, lima beans, solnum, potato, tomato, bell, and chili peppers, cornzea, maize, corn, amazing corn, just absolutely amazing maize, black walnut, cashew, peanut, peppers, cherry, sunflower, sugar apple, pumpkin, pineapple, papaya, huckleberry, pecan, potato, tomato, corn, vanilla, cacao, and then of course everybody knows that chocolate comes from the cacao bean. You got that cacao bean? Cacao? You mean a Hershey's chocolate bar? Is that what you're trying to say? You think you can get cacao from a grocery store? You have no idea where cacao even comes from. You don't even know what the hell. You can't even pronounce where chocolate comes from. Cacao! I'm trying. I'll try harder. You know? Shit. You gotta get this shit right. 100%, motherfucker. You gotta be perfect. You gotta be perfect! Don't blow it! Don't.